AITA for using her own agreement to challenge her divorce claims in court? I'm Matthew, 44, and for most of my marriage to Erica, I was the guy who paid the bills on Sunday night, kept every warranty in a kitchen drawer, and thought staying calm was the same thing as keeping peace. We had been married long enough that I knew exactly how she liked her coffee, which cabinet door always stuck, and when she needed quiet more than advice. What I missed was the moment my wife stopped seeing me as her husband and started treating me like an obstacle she needed to outmaneuver. When I first met Erica, she was the kind of woman who made decisions before most people finished explaining the problem. I admired that. She was organized, sharp, and never afraid to say what she wanted. If a restaurant messed up an order, she didn't yell. She just leaned forward, smiled, and somehow got the whole table comped. If paperwork needed to be handled, she handled it before I even found a pen. For a long time, that confidence felt like safety. I was quieter. I liked things predictable. I paid bills on time, checked statements, saved receipts, and used the same folder labels for years. Erica used to tease me about it. "You and your little systems," she would say, standing in the kitchen while I sorted mail at the counter. "Those little systems keep the lights on," I would say. She would laugh and kiss the top of my head. Back then, it felt loving. Near the end, the same joke came with an edge. One Sunday night, I was going through the joint credit card statement when I noticed a few charges I didn't recognize. Nothing huge. A storage unit charge. A hotel deposit that had been reversed. A consultation fee to a name I didn't know. I asked her about them while she was rinsing a mug in the sink. "Hey, do you know what this is?" I asked, turning the paper toward her. She didn't even look. "Why are you asking me like that?" "Like what?" "Like I did something wrong." I remember putting the statement down slowly because I could feel the conversation turning before I understood why. "I'm not accusing you. I'm asking what the charge is." She shut off the water and dried her hands with a dish towel. "That's exactly the problem, Matthew. You think every question sounds reasonable, but it's exhausting feeling like I have to explain every dollar." I stared at her because I had explained plenty of dollars over the years. Mortgage payments, insurance, repairs, birthday gifts for her family, loans we had helped people with when they were short. Money was not a weapon to me. It was a responsibility. But Erica had started using words like privacy, independence, and safe in a way that made normal conversations feel dirty. A few weeks after that, we were having dinner with her parents and her sister Melanie. Erica made some offhand comment while passing the salad. "Matthew gets nervous when I spend my own money." Her mother, Linda, gave me a look over her glass. I laughed lightly because I thought Erica was joking. "That's not what happened." Erica smiled, but not at me. "See? He always needs the last word when money comes up." The table went quiet for half a second. Not long enough for a fight. Just long enough for everyone to file it away. That became her pattern. A comment here. A sigh there. A little sentence dropped into a family gathering like a pin under a tire. Some people only support independence when it doesn't cost them anything. I shouldn't have to ask permission to feel secure. You wouldn't understand what it's like to feel watched. If I responded, I sounded defensive. If I didn't, the silence worked for her too. I told myself she was frustrated. I told myself marriages had seasons. I told myself that if I stayed calm, she would calm down too. Then, 2 years before she filed for divorce, Erica asked me to sign a financial agreement. She brought it up on a Thursday night. I remember because I had made chicken that came out too dry, and she'd barely touched it. She sat across from me at the table with her laptop open and a stack of printed pages beside her plate. "I need something in writing," she said. "About what?" "Certain accounts. Certain assets. I need to know some things are mine, no matter what happens later." I put my fork down. "What does that mean? What happens later?" She looked tired. Not angry. Tired in a way that made me feel guilty before I knew what I had done. "It means I need to feel safe. I don't want to be one of those women who wakes up one day and realizes she has nothing that's hers." I told her she was not one of those women. She had access to our accounts. She had her own cards. She had savings. She knew where everything was. But she said that wasn't the point. "You always turn this into a spreadsheet," she said. "I'm telling you how I feel." The next morning, she emailed me the terms. She had typed them herself. She wanted certain accounts treated as separate. She wanted confirmation that some funds would remain hers, no matter what happens later. She wrote, word for word, "This is my idea, not Matthew's." I need it in writing so I feel secure. I remember reading that line and feeling a little offended, but I ignored it. I thought signing would reassure her. I thought it would prove I was not the controlling husband she seemed afraid of inventing. So I signed. We went to a notary. Erica had the paperwork clipped together in a neat little packet. She was calm that day, almost relieved. Afterward, she got a latte and talked about replacing the hallway rug like we had just handled a normal errand. For a while, things got easier. Or maybe I wanted to believe they did. Then the phone calls in the garage started. Erica would step outside with her voice low, pacing near the back wall. If I opened the door, she would turn away. When I asked who she was talking to, she would say, "My sister," or "Nobody you need to worry about." She started keeping notes in a small planner she carried everywhere. She changed passwords on a few online accounts, then told me it was because she was trying to be more careful with security. She ordered things to the house and took the packages straight to the bedroom. When I asked, she said, "Personal stuff," in a tone that ended the conversation. I did not snoop. I also did not sleep well. The divorce papers arrived on a Tuesday afternoon. I had just gotten home and was standing in the kitchen, still holding the envelope, when my phone started buzzing. Not one message. A flood of them. They were from Erica's family group chat, a chat I had been part of for years. Birthday plans, recipes, photos of nieces and nephews, jokes about holiday disasters. That day, it looked like a courtroom with no judge. Erica had posted first. "I finally have the courage to leave someone who was only generous when people were watching. I spent years trying to be fair, but I can't keep living in a marriage where money is used to make me feel small. Please don't attack him. I just need support." Of course, that last sentence did exactly what she wanted. Her cousin wrote, "Just let her leave with dignity." Her aunt wrote, "We trusted you." Melanie wrote, "Erica has been scared to say this for years." Linda wrote nothing at first. Then she sent one sentence that hit harder than the others. "Matthew, I hope you do the right thing for once." I stood there with the divorce papers in one hand and my phone in the other, feeling like my whole marriage had been rewritten while I was still living in it. I typed 3 different replies. The first one was angry. The second one was detailed. The third one started with, "You don't know what you're talking about." I deleted all of them. Instead, I called Owen. Owen had been my best friend for almost 20 years, and he had a gift for sounding annoyed even when he was worried. I read him the group chat messages. He let me get through about half before cutting me off. "Do not answer angry." I wasn't going to. "Yes, you were. I can hear you breathing like a leaf blower." I sat down at the kitchen table. They're all believing her. "Then stop trying to win with people who already picked a side," Owen said. "Download everything before it disappears. Statements, emails, texts, voicemails, everything." That makes me sound paranoid. "No," he said. "It makes you divorced." That night, I did not sleep. I opened my laptop and started saving documents. Bank statements, credit card statements, retirement account summaries, emails from Erica about the financial agreement, screenshots from the group chat. I forwarded everything to Helen, the divorce attorney Owen had pushed me to call that morning. Helen was not warm in the way people expect lawyers to be on television. She did not promise revenge. She did not call Erica names. She listened, asked dates, asked for documents, and then said, "From now on, you do not argue with her about facts. You preserve them." I wanted to defend myself. I wanted to call Erica's parents and ask them how they could believe I had trapped their daughter when they had watched me help pay for emergencies, repairs, medical bills, and family trips for years. Helen shut that down immediately. "You are not trying this case in a family chat," she said. "You answer through counsel. You stay calm. And you never interrupt someone who is building the record against herself." I hated that advice because it required me to look weak for a while. Erica took advantage of that. Through her lawyer, Grant, she claimed she had been financially restricted for years. Grant's letters had a polished, aggressive tone that made me feel like I was being scolded by someone who had already decided the facts were inconvenient. "Mr. Matthew has maintained control over the marital finances and created an imbalance that must be addressed in settlement," one letter said. Another said Erica needed additional cash to compensate for years of restriction and lack of independent access. That one made me laugh once, out loud, alone at my dining table. Not because it was funny, because if I did not laugh, I was going to throw the letter across the room. Erica was also asking for more than a fair split. more cash, more favorable treatment of certain assets. Her attorney hinted that if I fought it, more personal details might become part of the record. Helen read the settlement proposal and slid it back across her desk. "This is pressure," she said. "So what do? We don't fold because someone uses a nicer font." During discovery, both sides had to exchange financial records. That was when the small things started becoming a pattern. I had noticed transfers before, but during the marriage, each one had an explanation. Family help, emergency expense, reimbursement, a short-term problem Melanie was having, a payment Erica said she had already told me about. Individually, they looked annoying but not catastrophic. Together, over 18 months, they became something else. There were transfers from the joint account that started long before Erica filed. Some went directly to bills I recognized. Others did not. Several were just under amounts that would have made me stop and ask a harder question at the time. A few connected to Melanie. I remember sitting in Helen's office while she placed printed statements side by side. "Patterns matter," she said, tapping the paper with one finger. "One transfer is a question. 12 transfers are a map." A map to what? That is what we are going to find out. I still did not have the missing piece until Melanie accidentally handed it to me. It happened after another family group chat exchange. I had stopped responding by then, but I still saved everything. Erica's cousin had posted something about how divorce revealed people's true character. Melanie replied with a heart emoji and wrote, "Some people only care about money when they can't control it anymore." I screenshotted it and put my phone down. 10 minutes later, a private text from Melanie appeared on my screen. I told Mom not to mention the account. Erica said it would be safe under my name until the divorce was done. I stared at it. Then I read it again. Then again. The anger I expected did not come hot. It went cold and quiet. A minute later, Melanie sent another text. "Sorry, wrong person. Ignore that." I did not answer. I forwarded both messages to Helen. She called me within 20 minutes. "Do not contact Melanie," she said. I wasn't going to. "Do not contact Erica. Do not hint that we have this. I need every bank statement from the last 18 months, every email about money, the notarized agreement, and the full disclosure she provided." "You think she hid money?" Helen paused. "I think we now have a reason to ask why marital funds were moved into an account connected to her sister and not disclosed clearly. That is enough." The old financial agreement became more important than I ever imagined. Erica had not only signed it. She had drafted the first version. Helen had the email chain. The subject line was still there, "Financial agreement, my requested terms." Erica had written, "I want these accounts treated as separate, no matter what happens later." In another email, she wrote, "This is my idea, not Matthew's. I need it in writing so I feel secure." Now, in her divorce filings, she was saying I had controlled all the accounts and pressured her into financial dependency. Helen organized everything into a binder. Actual paper. No dramatic hidden flash drive. No last-minute mystery envelope. Just tabs, dates, printed emails, bank statements, screenshots, voicemail transcripts, and Erica's signed financial disclosure. The binder sat on Helen's conference table like a quiet animal. Tab 1, Erica's emails. Tab 2, notarized agreement. Tab 3, joint account statements. Tab 4, disputed transfers. Tab 5, family chat screenshots. Tab 6, voicemail transcript. Tab 7, Melanie's accidental message. Tab 8, Erica's disclosure. I looked at it and felt both relieved and sick. "So I just say nothing?" I asked. Helen looked at me over her glasses. "You answer the question asked. The documents answer the lie. The worst thing you can do is rescue her from her own timeline." The voicemail under tab 6 came from Erica a few weeks before the hearing. Her voice was calm, but there was a sharpness underneath it. "Matthew, you can still make this easier on yourself. Just give me what I deserve before I have to make this worse. I don't want this to get ugly, but I won't let you control the ending too." When I first heard it, I wanted to call her and say, "You already made it ugly." Instead, I saved it. That was the hardest part. Not the court date. Not Grant's letters. Not the silence from people who used to hug me at holidays. The hardest part was letting people misunderstand me while I had proof in a folder. My own family struggled with that too. My sister wanted me to post the truth. "Why are you letting her say all this?" she asked one night. "Because Helen said not to." Helen doesn't have to sit there while people think she's a monster. No, I said. But Helen knows how not to lose a divorce case because of a Facebook comment. My sister hated that answer, but she stopped pushing. The morning of the hearing, I arrived early. Helen was already there, standing near the hallway windows with the binder tucked under one arm. Erica walked in with Grant beside her and her family behind her. Linda did not look at me. Melanie looked at me once, then looked away so fast, it almost confirmed everything by itself. Erica looked composed. Her hair was neat. Her face had that soft, tired expression people use when they want to seem brave without saying they are brave. She approached me while Grant checked something on his phone. You could still stop embarrassing yourself, she said quietly. I looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time in months, I did not feel the old pull to explain myself. I'm not the one who should be worried about the record, I said. Her expression barely changed, but her eyes moved to Helen's binder. Then the courtroom doors opened. Inside, everything felt smaller than I expected. No dramatic lighting, no crowd gasping, just wooden benches, papers, low voices, and people pretending their lives were not being taken apart in public. Erica's family sat behind her. My sister sat behind me. Owen had offered to come, but I told him I needed fewer familiar faces, not more. He texted me before it started anyway. Breathe. Answer only what they ask. I put my phone away. Grant started strong. He presented Erica as a woman who had spent years trying to leave a financially controlling marriage. He said she had been made to feel uncertain about what she was allowed to spend. He said I controlled access to information. He said Erica was asking for fairness after years of imbalance. Erica sat still, eyes lowered at just the right moments. When she spoke, her voice was soft. I spent years not knowing what I was allowed to have, she said. I was afraid that if I questioned anything, Matthew would turn it into a lecture or a document. I just want what is fair after everything I gave up. Behind her, Linda dabbed at her eyes. I looked straight ahead. Helen rested her hand on the binder and whispered, "Let her finish. Every sentence matters." Grant questioned me like a man who believed the ending had already been written. You handled the household bills, correct? Yes. You reviewed the bank statements? Yes. You questioned Erica about purchases? Sometimes. You controlled access to the accounts, didn't you? No. He tilted his head a little, as if my answer amused him. Mr. Matthew, you expect the court to believe that Erica created this situation herself? I paused long enough to feel the room lean in. Yes. Grant gave a small breath through his nose. Not quite a laugh. Close enough. Your Honor, this is exactly the pattern we are describing. He minimizes, denies, and reframes what my client experienced. Helen stood. She did not sound offended. She did not sound eager. She sounded like someone asking about a receipt at a return counter. Your Honor, may we address the written financial agreement referenced in the disclosures? Grant objected at first, saying it was being mischaracterized. The judge looked at Helen, then at the document, and allowed it. Helen placed the notarized agreement on the table. Erica, you recognize this document? She asked. Erica glanced at it. Generally. It bears your signature? Yes. And Matthew's? Yes. This agreement addresses certain accounts and assets you requested be treated separately, correct? Erica swallowed. That's not how I remember it. Helen nodded once, like that answer was expected. Let's stay with the document. You signed it in front of a notary, correct? Yes, but I felt pressured. Grant shifted beside her. Helen turned one page. The first draft of this agreement came from your email address, correct? Erica looked at Grant. Helen continued. The subject line was financial agreement, my requested terms. Do you dispute sending that email? I don't remember the exact wording. That's fine, Helen said. Then let's read what you wrote. The courtroom went very still. Helen read only a line, not a speech. I want these accounts treated as separate, no matter what happens later. Erica's jaw tightened. Helen moved to the next email. And here you wrote, this is my idea, not Matthew's. I need it in writing so I feel secure. Did I read that correctly? Erica's voice changed. It lost the soft edges. That was taken out of context. What context changes the sentence? This is my idea, not Matthew's. Grant stood. Objection. Argumentative. The judge told Helen to rephrase. Helen did. At the time you sent this email, had Matthew threatened to withhold money unless you signed? Erica hesitated. Not in those words. Had he drafted the terms? No, but had he told you those accounts had to be separate? He made me feel like I had to protect myself. Helen let that sit for one beat. So the written terms were yours. Erica said nothing. Grant's confidence started changing shape. He was still professional, still alert, but he was no longer leaning back. He was reading his notes like they had betrayed him. Then Helen moved to the transfers. She started with the joint account statements. Not dramatic. Just dates, amounts, labels. Erica, during discovery, you provided a financial disclosure, correct? Yes. That disclosure was supposed to identify accounts containing marital funds or funds transferred from marital accounts, correct? Grant objected to the wording. Helen adjusted. The judge allowed the line of questioning to continue. Helen pointed to the first statement. Do you recognize this transfer? Erica looked down. It was family help. To whom? My sister. Melanie. Yes. And this one? Also Melanie. And this one? Erica's hands folded tighter in her lap. I don't remember every transfer. Helen did not raise her voice. The transfers began before the divorce filing, correct? I guess. They continued after you had already discussed divorce with counsel, correct? Grant stood again, this time more carefully. Your Honor, I need to confer with my client regarding the basis for that question. The judge allowed a brief moment. Grant leaned down and whispered to Erica. Erica whispered back fast, shaking her head once. I did not smile. I did not feel like smiling. I felt something heavier than satisfaction. I felt the relief of no longer being the only person in the room who knew the story was crooked. Helen then introduced Melanie's message. Grant objected harder this time. The judge reviewed it, asked a few questions about how it had been received and preserved, and allowed it for the limited purpose of the financial disclosure issue. Helen read it plainly. I told Mom not to mention the account. Erica said it would be safe under my name until the divorce was done. Behind Erica, someone moved in their seat. I did not turn around. The judge looked at Erica. Was there an account under Melanie's name containing funds transferred from the joint account? Erica opened her mouth, then closed it. It wasn't exactly mine, she said. Helen looked down at the statement. But the funds came from the joint account, correct? Some of them. And you had an understanding with Melanie that the money would remain there until the divorce was done? No, that's not. She misunderstood. Did you disclose the account connected to these transfers? Erica looked at Grant again. Grant did not rescue her. He couldn't. Not cleanly. The judge repeated the question in a practical, almost tired tone. Did you disclose it? Erica's voice got smaller. I didn't think I had to because it wasn't in my name. That was the moment her family's silence changed. Before that, their silence had been judgment directed at me. After that, it was embarrassment looking for somewhere to hide. Helen asked a few more questions. Short ones. Where did the money originate? When did the transfers begin? Were they listed accurately? Had Melanie been told to keep quiet about the account? Erica tried different doors. She forgot. She was scared. Melanie was just helping. She did not understand what had to be disclosed. She felt pressured by me. She needed safety. She had not meant it that way. Helen did not chase emotion. Scared when you wrote the terms, she asked once. Or scared when the court read them? Grant objected, and the judge sustained it, but the damage was already breathing in the room. When I was asked why I had brought the documents, I kept my answer short. I didn't bring them to punish her, I said. I brought them because she asked everyone to believe I was hiding the truth. She wanted a public story. I brought the paperwork. For the first time that day, Erica looked at me. Not with sadness. Not with regret. With anger. The kind that said I had broken a rule by not staying in the role she assigned me. The judge did not hand down some movie-style punishment. Erica was not dragged out. Nobody clapped. Nobody gasped in a way worth describing. What happened was quieter and, for Erica, worse. The court ordered a clearer review of the transfers and Erica's financial disclosure before settlement terms could be finalized. The issue involving Melanie's account had to be explained. Grant stopped using phrases like pattern of control and shifted into careful damage control. The proposed settlement Erica had been pushing suddenly looked a lot less reasonable. Outside the courtroom, Erica's family did not gather around her the way they had before. Linda stood near the wall, arms crossed, staring at the floor. Melanie was crying quietly while Erica spoke to her in a tight whisper. Grant looked like a man trying to remain professional while mentally rewriting every conversation he had ever had with his client. I walked past them with Helen. Erica stepped forward. Matthew. I stopped, but I did not turn fully. Not here, Helen said. Erica ignored her. You didn't have to humiliate me like that. I looked at her then. You brought them to court, she said. You brought me here as the villain, I answered. The documents came with me. Helen touched my arm lightly, and we kept walking. The messages started that evening. Erica's cousin wrote, we didn't know the whole story. Her aunt wrote, we were just worried about Erica. Linda waited 2 days, then sent, I reacted as a mother. I hope someday you understand that. I read that one twice. I typed back. That was the problem. You reacted before you knew. Then I deleted it. A few apologies were sincere enough to accept. Owen told me not to turn into a statue just because I had been hurt. Some people were manipulated, he said. Some people were happy to judge you. Learn the difference. So I did. To the cousin who said he was sorry for assuming the worst, I replied, I appreciate that. To the people who sent excuses dressed as apologies, I did not reply at all. Melanie eventually had to explain her role. From what Helen told me, Melanie insisted she thought she was just helping Erica keep safe money temporarily. She said Erica told her it was allowed because the funds would be sorted out later. I believed Melanie understood less than Erica did, but that did not make her innocent. It made her careless with someone else's marriage and someone else's money. The final settlement changed. Not in a cartoonish way where Erica lost everything and I walked away rich and laughing. Real life rarely works like that. But she lost the leverage she had tried to create by turning herself into a victim and me into a warning label. The transfers were accounted for. The separate terms she had written were treated like terms she had written. Her accusations did not disappear from the record, but they no longer controlled it. I kept what I was legally entitled to, and the final agreement reflected facts instead of pressure. The day the divorce was finalized, I sat in my car outside Helen's office with the signed papers on the passenger seat. I expected to feel victorious. I didn't. I felt tired, cleaned out, like a house after a storm, when the water is gone, but everything still smells damp. Helen walked me to the elevator and said, keep communication through my office for anything remaining. You think she'll reach out? I asked. Helen gave me a look. Yes. She was right. 3 nights later, Erica texted me. We deserve closure after all these years. I don't want our ending to be this cold. Can we talk privately, without lawyers? I was standing in my kitchen when it came through. The same kitchen where I used to pay bills on Sunday nights. The same drawer still had warranties in it. One cabinet still stuck unless you lifted it slightly before pulling. For a moment, I saw the old version of her. The woman with the latte outside the notary office. The woman who used to laugh at my folders. The woman I had protected in my head long after she stopped existing in the room with me. Then I read the message again. Closure. Privately. Without lawyers. One last chance to soften the edges. One last chance to turn a documented ending into a conversation she could edit later. I typed one sentence. Closure doesn't require me to let you edit the ending. Then I forwarded the message to Helen and blocked Erica everywhere except the channel our attorneys used. My sister came over the next weekend and helped me clear out the last things Erica had left behind. A sweater in the hall closet. A box of mismatched decorations. A mug with a chip on the handle that Erica always claimed was still perfectly usable. At one point, my sister found the old folder with the house warranties and held it up. You keeping this? Of course, I said. She laughed. Some things never change. I took the folder from her and put it back in the drawer. Some things do, I said. I don't pretend I was perfect in that marriage. I avoided hard conversations because I thought patience was the same as kindness. I let little comments slide because challenging them felt like starting a fight. I confused keeping peace with keeping quiet, and Erica learned exactly how to use that. But silence without evidence lets someone else control the story. I didn't win because I hated her. I won because I finally stopped protecting the version of her that only existed in my head. She wanted the court to see me as the villain. Instead, the paperwork showed them who had been writing the script. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.